Join me as I draft and cut and sew this beautiful off-shoulder gown. It actually has a loop at the back. The zip is not starting from the uppermost part. If you've been interested, let's dive in. Now I've gone ahead to fold the fabric of the upper part for both the front and the back. As you can see, I've gone ahead to draw the lines. Okay, I have taken 3 inches away since an off shoulder. Now the off shoulder depends on the depth you want, okay, but 3 inches is fine for me. I've gone ahead to mark from where I took the 3 inches to our chest line and of course our waistline, then allowance to join the downside, okay. And I've gone ahead to keep 2 inch seam allowance for the zipper allowance. But since I'm going to be using a loop at the upper part, I'm going to be deducting 1.5 inches. So I'll be left with only 0.5 inches for the loop parts. Then the other 2 inches where I'm going to join the down parts will still remain, as you can see. Hope it makes sense to you. Okay, now since it's an off shoulder, like I told you, our shoulder measurement is 8, but I'm not going to be putting 8 because if you put 8, there's going to be excess. I'm going to be subtracting 1.5 inch. You can subtract 1 inch, but I'll be subtracting 1.5 inch. Now 8 inches minus 1.0, that's 6.5. Okay, then I'll go ahead and take the shoulder measurement down on our chest line. I will come down by 1 inch. I want to do a little sweetheart neckline, as you can see. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in my comment section. Okay, then for the waistline, I'll be taking a waist measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inch seam allowance. Now the seam allowance is depending on your preference. You can add 1.5, you can add 2, 2.5 or 3. Excuse me, please. After which I am going to be using my ruler to join. And now you remember for the chest line, I've not taken a bust measurement. So the bust measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inch seam allowance. Okay, so I'm going to marry it down like this. I'm using my pattern master to do that, as you can see. After which I am going to be drawing the arm side, okay. And then I'll proceed to the sweetheart neckline, just a little sweetheart neckline. I don't want it very pronounced, just a little. I just came down by 1 inch, okay. So this is for the upper bodice. The next thing we're going to be doing now, we are going to be cutting. Then for the back, sorry, I came up by 1 inch, then I will slant it. I'm actually doing okay, I'm doing the bust pan, which is 3.5. I've marked it, so from the waist now I will draw it down to meet the bust pan measurements, if that makes sense to you. Okay, so I'll go ahead and cut. Very soon we are going to be running our paid classes on some unique designs. Okay, if you'd be interested, just let me know. So I've gone ahead to cut. Now in this waistline, I came down by 0.5 inches before I drew the line to meet the bust span measurement, as you can see. Then I'll go ahead and cut the front. This is basically for the front. For the back, I'm going to come down more inches. It depends on your preference. All this depend on your preference, okay? I'll come down by extra 3 inches. Then I'll use my French curve to do it like so. I guess it's easily understandable. So I'll go ahead and cut this out. I want the back to be a bit deep. That's why I did it like this. Okay. So now we are going to be cutting out the place I want to make a loop. I'll be cutting it out while the other place for the zip will remain. Then I'll slit the place for the zip. Okay. Now that zip place will join to the down part of the gown. Now this is the down part. What you're going to be doing, you're going to be measuring the waist. I have 34 there now. Okay. Now that is the length. Sorry, the length is actually 34 inches. I'm adding 34 inches to the upper bodice. Now it depends on the height of your client, what the length you want to work with. And then I have gone ahead to multiply the waist by 3. You can use 2.5, you can use 2, depending on how full you want it. So now is the waist measurement by 3 and the length of by the length of the gown, if that makes sense to you. Okay, as you can see. Now I just want to do a skeletal work of what you're going to be saying. Okay, so what I do for this, I'm going to be using an interface, sorry, to interface the upper bodies. I'm using hairstay. So now this is the sleeve. I've gone ahead to take the measurements, that's around shoulder and around upper bust. The difference, I measured it 5 inches. I added 1 inch allowance, 5 inches. Then our arm side measurement is actually 8 inches. Then around armhole is actually around 6 inches. So we'll just join it like so. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. This is an off-shoulder sleeve, okay? It's not the regular sleeve. Now you can actually take a measurement from where uh arm side is ending to the back arm side, if that makes sense to you. If you don't want to calculate it by around upper bust and around shoulder, the difference, then 1 inch for same allowance. You can as well do it the other way I just explained. Just take a tape rule, you measure across from our arm side across the arm to the back side, okay? Depending on your preference. So now this is just a skeletal work. Now the both sides, depending on the measurements you want to use, the length or the breadth of what you want to use, I doubled it. As you can see, I've gone ahead to cut for the little bow ties as well. It's actually rectangular in shape. Now, I would not give you a specific measurement because it depends on your preference. You could use any rectangular measurement you think suits what you want to do, okay? But just make sure the one at the chest area is bigger. So this is just the skeletal work of what you're going to be seeing when I am done sewing, like you saw earlier. So now let's dive into the sewing process. Like I told you, I've gone ahead to interface with my hairstay, a visible interface. I've gone ahead to interface both the lining and the fashion fabric. Okay, it's actually a liquid Mikado. So now for the loop area, like I told you, to make it firm and nice, we're going to be using a resinning boning. As you can see, I've gone ahead to measure. Okay, be sure to give half an inch on the upper part, half an inch on the lower part, so that when you're stitching, it's going to come out well when you're turning, I mean to say. So I'm going to have to give 1 inch apart. That is where I'm going to be putting my loops. Okay. So I'm going to have to cut 2 inches by 1 inch. I'll fold it like so. I'll stitch it and I'll bend it, stitch it on the resinning boning. As you can see, I'm done. So where I have my measurement, I marked 1 inch apart. Okay. So I'll go ahead and fix it. Just be stitching it at your pace. I've done this for this. I'll go ahead and do for the second one. So I'm done with this. Now let's dive into the main thing. As you can see, I have placed it like this on the fashion fabric. Excuse me, I don't know what's wrong with my throat. I'll go ahead and place the lining on top and I'll stitch, as you can see. I've done that. I've gone ahead to notch that part to ease turning, okay? As you can see, it's so beautiful like this. Be sure to give it a good press. Now what I do for this, I'll replicate for the other one. As you can see, be sure to give it a good press like I said. Now this is for the front. I'll just go ahead and join. Now I'm going to be joining using her measurements. I'll be joining the side seams together using her measurements. That's her bust measurements, her actual bust measurement though, and her actual waist measurement. You can just add 0.5 inch for ease. So this is what it looks like. You see how beautiful it is already taking shape. Now we're going to be adding the off shoulder sleeve. I'm using the fashion fabric for both the main fabric and the lining. I'll go ahead and stitch round, then I'll measure like so. I'll take that same measurement to it. Okay, I'll mark it out. I'll do same for the other sleeve. I'll close the edge and I'll join like so. It's not much of a task, actually. It's very easy. You can see how neat it is. Neatness is my watchword. Okay, so I'll stitch that. What I do for this I'll do it for the other side as well. Okay, so now let's dive into the lower part. I've gone ahead to stitch it, as you can see. I'll get the mid of the measurement, then I'll start pleating. I'm pleating on top. I'm not pleating outward inwardly. I'm pleating outwardly. Okay, I'm pleating on top. Now the pleat depends on your preference. You can do it a box pleat or a small pleat, depending on what you want. But I'm actually pleating on top like this. I'll continue round till I am done. When I'm done, you're going to see the final outlook. Feel free to ask your questions. So my subscribers, you rock. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. If you're new in this channel, you're welcome. Kindly give us a thumbs up. Okay. Now adding hard nets to this is optional. Okay. But if you want to give it more structure, feel free to add your hard net. You can see I am done. I am going to be putting a line in, okay? Look at what I'm doing. I flipped it this way and I'll attach the lining. After which I am going to turn so that when I turn, it's going to be very neat. I've done this countless number of times in my channel. So I'll go ahead and put it. Like I told you, if you want more structure, you can add your ad net. So now I'll be fixing my zipper. I've taught how to insert zipper in this channel. As you can see, now see how gorgeous this looks. Now, I wanted to use that as my look, but I changed my mind. I'll be hemming, okay? Now this is for the bow tie, like I told you. Just attach it to the necessary place that you saw in the on the first video, okay? I'll just go ahead and stitch it round. Like I told you, the bow tie is depending on your preference. It's just a rectangular shape, depending on what you want. What I do for this, I'll do for the rest. I'll just stitch them out. Okay, then leave a little opening that will aid me turning. Okay, so I'll turn like this, as you can see. For that, I am going to be sewing it. I'm not just going to be doing it like this, okay? I'm just showing you a skeletal work. I'll be hand tacking as well. When I'm done, I'll do same for the other sides as well.